My hot roommate keeps giving me forehead kisses when I'm asleep. How do I ask him to do it when I'm awake too? I've been struggling to deal with my sexuality ever since my roommate Jake has been giving me forehead kisses when he thinks I'm sleeping. I really like them and don't know how to approach the situation. I've sort of been very awkward around Jake ever since. Every time he does something nice, I think that he likes me, which makes me feel all warm inside and I start stuttering like crazy. He's called me out on it a couple of times, but I managed to defuse the situation. Thing is, I literally can't be around Jake anymore. Whenever I see him, I just think back to him kissing me and how I want him to do that all the time. I've even caught myself staring at his lips. It's a problem. One day, Jake asked me if he had done something to make me uncomfortable because I had been acting very weird around him. I reassured him that he didn't do anything and he shouldn't worry about it. He ended up confirming his bisexuality to me by telling me that if that's what's making me uneasy around him, then he can find a new place. I could barely even register his words because I just kept thinking about the fact that my chances with him shot up immediately. Because he likes men and chose to give me forehead kisses, so yeah, I have a chance. But I did realize that my behavior around him has to change or else I would be creating a gap between us, and that's the opposite of what I want. So for the past week, my goal was to get my feelings under control and hang out with Jake like I would before this whole thing started. Everything was going good until it dawned on me that Jake hadn't been giving me kisses. I was pretty sad until I remembered that I had been napping in my room because again, I was trying to control my feelings. Well, I figured that a week was too long of a time without his kisses, so for my next nap, I slept on the couch. I didn't use a blanket on purpose. Closed my eyes, and just waited. Jake was in his room for a while watching something, but I knew he would come out at some point. I just had to be patient. I didn't realize it at that time, but I was falling asleep, which I didn't want to do, so I was just fighting the sleep until he came out. I was pretty much dying when I heard him say, "Oh, you're back on the couch." If it hadn't been for how tired I was, my whole body probably would have tensed up. I felt the blanket go on top of me, then the stroke of his finger on my cheek. My heart was racing at this point. Then he moved my hair away from my forehead and the moment I had been waiting for arrived. He kissed my forehead. I didn't realize just how much I missed his kisses, and the lack of sleep really added to this, but I ended up mumbling, "One more please." My heart dropped and I thought Jake was going to wake me up to confront me on this. To say I was scared and nervous was an understatement. Instead, he kissed me again. I ended up smiling like an idiot and he asked me if I liked it, to which I stupidly answered yes. He told me to rest and we'll talk about this later, and stroked my cheek again before leaving. When I woke up, I thought I had dreamt the whole thing, but maybe that was my coping mechanism for slipping up and letting Jake know I was aware of his kisses. He was on the couch and he had this huge smirk on his face. He let me freshen up first and then I sat on the couch with him to begin our talk. He asked me if he liked the affection I was receiving, since he knows about my lack of affection growing up, or if I liked him because they were two completely different things. I was sure I liked him because he was always affectionate to me before and I didn't have these feelings for him back then. He then asked if I was weirded out by the kisses because even if he did them while I was awake, me being asleep changed things. I embarrassingly admitted that I was looking forward to them whenever I napped. He started grinning so much that it actually scared me for a second. He said he liked me too, but knows I never liked guys before, so he wants to take this slow. That was fine by me as long as we were dating. He officially asked me out on a date the next day and he's been giving me forehead kisses while I'm awake now.